How's it going? So I'll show you the system. I'll basically run through these things. I'll show you the system, talk about why you're failing, and how, well, I'm not going to poop on this. I will, but not right now. And then energy to be disciplined. So these are the 3 topics I'm going to cover in this video, right? Okay, so here's the system. This is like, I have fun when I do this. It makes me happy. It's like gamifying your life, IRL, and all of your activities into a game. And see how many tasks you can complete per day, and how many of them are green, how many of them are yellow and red. So, this is how you build it. You go to Google Docs, you open a new Google Sheet, right? You put date, task priority. Now, this is probably going to be like this. So you want to make this bigger because there's usually a lot of info that goes into it. So you see there is this little thingy, like you hover on it and then you can expand. And then done, time completed. So color codes is up to you, whatever motivates you, go ahead with it, right? So high is high priority activity, medium is medium priority, low is low. Essentials would be like food, washing, and stuff like that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we want to freeze this row so it travels with us, right? So view, freeze one row. So you see now we scroll and it sticks. Okay, so let's go through. I'll tell you a little bit, like in 5 minutes, not in 5 minutes later, but like why. Just bear with me, okay? Okay, so in the morning you wake up. You probably want to go food. We probably want to put this into the middle. Now sometimes it's going to overlap in here. In that case, you can do this. So you see it's like super long. Without this here, it will be like this. It's up to you. I mean, you can do it. I like to do it this way. I like to center it so you can see the description of the activity. Okay, so let's say food, essential, and then you timestamp when did you complete it. All right, so you in here hold Control, hold Shift on the keyboard, and then semicolon. That's when you completed it. Okay. So next, let's say wash. Okay, wash, boom, completed, right? Then let's say do 25 minutes, or check emails. Okay, check emails is probably going to be medium. Well, it depends on who you are, but like, well, let's say if you're working, then it's going to be high. Check work email. Well, let's say, okay, medium is check personal emails, because a lot of time there's a lot of junk in it, right? Boom, completed. Okay, let's say high is check work emails. Okay, done. Then you want to probably have some food. Again, done, right? So, but you see what I'm saying is that every day you'll be able to sift through this and see, okay, where... Now, what does it do? It forces your brain to think before you do an activity. Is this high priority activity? Is it medium or low, right? So, maybe checking what's the price of the Mercedes class C class is like low priority. Do you understand? So you can say, okay, check price of Mercedes. You done it, but you'll be like, nah, it's a low activity, right? Now, I get happy when I see a lot of green in my day. I just like get satisfaction out of it. So that's what I'm saying, is that colors are important because they're gonna motivate you, right? It's kind of like, as you know, League of Legends. When you see all of the wins, you see only blue, you get happy because blue is associated with being awesome in the game, right? So in my life, green is associated with being awesome. So I see a lot of green, I get happy. Okay, so make sure that colors have meaning to you. That's kind of, you have to personalize it, right? Then let's say do some tickets. Boom, done, right? Then, okay, so that's basically the system. Then every day you do it. So I'm holding control and clicking the same button here. This will give you date stamp. So this is date stamp. So you don't have to manually, you can if you want. So, whatever, 14 February 2025. Well, oy, 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 oy. It's up to you, basically. Like this is something, I just like to have button clicking, so it's quicker. And then based on that, you can look and see how did you perform during the day. Another thing you can build that's optional, I tried to do it, but it created a lot of stress, so I don't do it anymore. But if it motivates you, you can do it. You can see how long a task took. So you take when did you complete it, this, minus when did you start it. You see, so it will tell you the time. Well, in this case it doesn't work because there was seconds, and it can't register seconds, I think. Can it? Okay, well, let's look this minus this. It works on my other one. 1 second. Okay, so I found the problem. This minus this, you see it's gonna tell you 2 minutes. Okay, so the problem was you have to go to File, Settings, and change this to Ireland, your locale, right? Then, I don't know, for some reason it was set United States. I couldn't, it wasn't calculating, but anyway, I set it to Ireland or UK, whatever you want. Then it's going to calculate the difference. Okay, so let's say, how long did it take me to complete my emails? You can do this minus previous one. So in this case it's 11 seconds, but because it's unreal, it's just a simulation. But it will take you like 5-6 minutes. And then based on that you can build how much time did you spend per day doing green tasks, yellow, or essentials. Okay, so that's the system. If you don't know Excel or Google Docs, you have to learn it. It's one of the most important skills in life. Maths and this. And Excel is like, it's so important, basically. Okay. Alright, here is where I think people are failing. Because I get emails from people and they keep asking me. Okay, here's the problem. People know what need to do in order to be successful in their life, okay? They know the tasks they need to do. The problem is finding motivation and being disciplined to do them. That is where most people are failing. I'm talking about like almost every, like, because some people reach out to me, they ask the same questions over and over and over, and I'm thinking to myself, and I see it in people, even in work situations, in, you know, League of Legends situations, just in life in general. People struggle with motivation and discipline. So, here's where the problem lies. Most people attribute sleep and play to low activity. So, you look online, there are a lot of health gurus, you know, scammers selling you courses, and they're telling you, you can be productive throughout the day on 6 hours of sleep. Okay? Don't waste your time playing or zoning out, because that's a complete waste of time. You need to be, like some people even say you don't need to eat something, right? What they're saying is every day, what they're saying is your day should look like this and then like this. Do you understand? That's what they're saying. Don't go to the bathroom, hold it, and do productivity. Now, the difference I noticed between really, like, real successful people who actually do it and people that watch seminars who don't get anything done, but they buy a lot of seminars, they attend, they're basically seminar junkies. They don't get anything done, but they watch a lot of seminars and read a lot of successful books. Is these guys, successful guys, treat this as essential. So this is when I made Triforce. I said, you have to, if you want to be successful in life, you have to be aiming at like 10 hours of sleep minimum. 8 is like bare minimum. Most people probably, if you're talking about learning, you're talking about being disciplined, doing tasks that your body does not want to do, you need a lot of energy to overcome this body resistance. Okay? And in between, during the day, so for example, the success guru is going to tell you, hey, high priority, 8 hours. Okay? Nobody can sit through watching a seminar, absorbing the information in 8 hours. It is, humans cannot do that. He himself cannot do that. I promise you that, because that's why he's selling courses, because he probably can't do it. Right? Because humans are just not designed like this. Okay? So make sure that you work in blocks. So let's say, like right now I'm doing Webpack. I set up, I already completed my learning. So let's say I'm learning Webpack. I would say, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes of YouTube Webpack. Okay, well, I'll show you the course. Look, there's the course. One sec. So look, there's the course. Travesty Media Webpack. It's 42 minutes, right? So what I do, the first thing I do is I break it down into 4 parts. 10 minutes, roughly here, okay? And I set myself goal, okay, I'm gonna sit down and do 10 minutes, okay? So it goes here, 10 minutes of YouTube Webpack, right? Once I'm finished, once I finish, I do playtime. And usually my playtime is unlimited, right? Which is, I'm gonna play GTA 5, okay? Do my daily tasks in GTA 5. Complete, usually then followed by food, something like this, right? Then boom. If I'm feeling it, I'll do another 10. If I'm not feeling it, I do another 5. Because you have to understand that when you're studying this programming mumbo jumbo, especially frameworks that are like Webpack, that are not really related to JavaScript, they are more about configuring and importing certain things, right? 5 minutes of a webinar like this might take you, for me it worked out to go from here to here. I did the math and it worked out 1 minute of YouTube, this webinar, worked out 15 minutes in real life. Okay, so think about it. For me to do 20 minutes, I ended up doing 5 hours. So this, from here to here, it took me 5 hours, because the amount of time you have to, and this is with ChatGPT. Back in the days when I was learning this, I remember back in the days I did this like 2 or 3 years ago. I think I've done this, right? I forgot it completely by now. It took me, I think, an entire week to do this 40 minutes, because of how much I had to go to Stack Overflow. Right now with ChatGPT, I mean, you just put in the query and it explains everything, gives you all the solutions, solves all the problems. So all you have to do is just understand what the hell is going on, and then ChatGPT really, like ChatGPT cuts the amount of time you have to do to search for to search for solutions, right? And even with ChatGPT, it's still 5 hours for 20 minutes. Do you understand how sometimes, because the reason why I'm flaming this is because I saw this guy, he was, he teaches front end, and he was like, yeah, in 1 year, you can cover all the skills necessary to become a front-end front-end developer. I was like, dude, on paper, this is 1 hour. On paper. In real time, this is more like 7 hours. Do you know what I mean? Because of how much you need to know in order to understand this. And there's no way on the face of this galaxy you can learn mid-level skills in 1 year. It's just not gonna. It's completely unrealistic, right? Completely unrealistic. And he was like, yeah, like 1 week HTML and CSS, dude. You're not gonna learn HTML and CSS like 1 week. Yeah, the syntax you will, but like it's just not realistic. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying is that like these guys on YouTube, they kind of, how to say, it's like watching an Instagram model on YouTube, on whatever, Instagram, right? They have unrealistic expectations of what you should look like. That's not what they look like. It's all about angles, it's all about Photoshop. Some of them, they have, how to say, they have plastic surgeries, right? Some of them have good genetics. For most people, like what you see on YouTube, or it's completely unrealistic, right? So you have to think in terms of yourself, chunk it down into small steps, complete it, okay, and then reward yourself with whatever, tasty food, play, and then sleep is like super, super, super essential. Okay? Like, I'll give you an example. Like, let me just think 1 sec. Okay, so this topic here is like the difference between, I'd say, successful people who actually do it and people who continue to watch seminars who are unsuccessful, is how you treat rest and play. Play is essential, sleep is essential. Whereas the people who watch seminars because they listen to gurus who are trying to... You have to remember, think about guru. He makes money when you attend the seminars. So he needs to make sure that you attend the seminars. If he tells you, hey dude, sleep is important, play is important, you need to chunk down the tasks, right? You're not gonna, because you're gonna start having progress and you're not gonna attend the webinars anymore. He's gonna start losing money. That is bad for him. That's why they tell you all this nonsense so you fail, and then they tell you, oh, it's your fault because XYZ, okay? So what I'm saying is that sleep, play, food, very, very important. And breaking down tasks into smaller chunks, very, very important. Alright? 1 hour study. Yeah. So the hustle mentality, because they try to install hustle mentality, but hustle mentality works in physical world where your body can produce adrenaline, right? Because your body is designed for movement. So in the world of athletics, you can apply hustle mentality. Because you have adrenaline and your body in short term can produce cortisol, it will help you, give you a little bit of boosts. But when you're working with academics, when you're working with your brain does not have this type of stuff. If your brain produces adrenaline, this is very, very bad for your learning. Very, very bad. So let's say you're watching some kind of guru, he's motivating you, he's like, yeah, you gotta be working and studying for 10 hours per day. So you've done 2 hours and you are already exhausted because you learned so much, your brain is going to explode. In that case, what you need to do is you need to go and sleep. Sleep for, 2-3 hours, as long as it takes, because brain needs to absorb the information and build new patterns. Under no circumstances do you hammer yourself with coffee and then continue to study for the next 5 hours so you can tick the box. This is one of the mistakes I've done. And then, do you know what's going to happen is you're going to wake up tomorrow and you're going to be like, shit, I don't remember anything I studied. Why? Because your body will start producing adrenaline. When it produces adrenaline, your your brain, you have to think in terms of your brain has layers, right? One of the layers is fight or flight, is when you have a lot of adrenaline in the body. Your logical brain switches off, and it's basically thinks that a lion is attacking you, so you need to have high reflexes, fast reflexes, and like you'll be aggressive. Okay? You don't want to think in terms of if a lion is like running after you, you don't want to think, you want to instantly react. So it increases your aggressiveness and your muscle capacity and responses, right? So you think less, your logical brain becomes weaker, right? But learning is all about making your logical brain stronger. So you are reversing the process. That's why all of this shit you're gonna learn while you're jacked up on coffee, you're gonna instantly forget once adrenaline runs out. Because your body is not designed to operate in this mode and learn at the same time. That's not how the evolution process works. I notice that when I'm relaxed, I work 1/3 of the hours that I've done when I was jacking myself up on coffee, and I learn faster right now. Because I wake up, everything sticks, right? I remember everything. Because no coffee, no adrenaline. And brain, when it's relaxed, it's in super, like it learns really well. So it's all about making sure that when you're studying, you're in the correct zone. That's why I tell people avoid coffee. If you're studying, avoid it, because it's just not very good because it produces adrenaline. And you don't want adrenaline because your brain switches into the wrong mode. And if you're in the wrong mode, you're wasting your time studying. At that point, you need to go to the gym and start pumping iron, right? Because that's what your body wants to do. At that point, yes, it's productive to be in the gym. But if you're trying to learn how to do JavaScript, or if you're trying to learn how to do Python, it's a complete waste of your time. Complete waste of your time. Trying to jack up your hours on coffee. Don't do it, okay? If you're sleepy, sleep. Make sure your brain rejuvenates. Have a snack. Again, make sure you eat well because you need a lot of brain to learn because your brain functions on carbohydrates and insulin. So starving yourself, again, decreases your brain capacity. It's all about making sure that your brain has enough resources to do all this shit, right? And then rewarding yourself because, again, you need dopamine. Without dopamine, brain doesn't function really well. Okay? So all of this advice that, I don't know, I see this like gurus, it's like they're just giving you shit advice. You're gonna fail, you're gonna buy their next book, they're gonna give you another shit advice, you're gonna fail, you're gonna buy, and this cycle continues, and then you start jumping from guru to guru to guru, who pretty much say exactly the same shit, and nobody tells you that, hey dude, you actually, if you ask proper experts, like Mathew Walker, right, he's a sleep expert. 1 second. Yeah, so this guy here, Mathew Walker, he is a PhD scientist, okay? He studies sleep. And he will tell you, like, you need to sleep at least 8 hours. And I'm not going to get into it, but, like, you can watch a podcast. I'll probably link it in the description below. 1 sec. Yeah, so this one is good. The Truth About Sleep, Mathew Walker with Dr. Mike. And also Joe Rogan episode was very good with him. But bottom line, like, there are two things you need to take away. Sleep is, like, critical. The most important thing is sleep. Sleep and food. And second of all is, some people are, like, late. They prefer to stay at night. Some people prefer a day. That's a thing. That's because back in the days we were living in tribes. And it was profitable because some people who like to stay at night, they would protect the tribe at night. They would go to sleep. And then people who like to wake up early would protect them. Do you understand? So this shifts. Some people prefer to sleep. Like, you have to understand that, like, this shifting in hours between people is an evolutionary mechanism that made sure that we survived the predators as a tribe. It's an actual thing. It's not that there is something wrong with you. It's an actual evolutionary built-in mechanism. All right? Because, again, today's world is, we're not really designed biologically for today's world because technology just skyrocketed evolution so fast. So we're used to well, it's I'm not gonna get into it, but like bottom line, we're not really, our emotional circuitry especially is not really designed for today world at all. That's why a lot of emotions that you experience today are, they're just not useful to you at all. But that's a completely different topic. Bottom line, sleep, omega important. Do not mess with it. Also, when you watch it, they did try experiments where people sleep 5 hours and see how they behave and how productive they become. Not a single person was useful at 4 to 5 hours. They all failed. So if you see a guru who's telling you you need to sleep faster, you say, hey dude, how about a controlled study where you sleep for 5 hours for 2 weeks? Let's see how well you do. I'm telling you, after 2 to 3 days, he's gonna explode. His brain is just gonna, like, there was a dude, he didn't sleep for 2 hours and he became a chronic schizophrenic. He started thinking that the Nazis are there to kill him, right? And this guy was a PhD professor, excellent health, and 48 hours on just not sleeping made him into a crazy person. So you have to understand how essential it is for you, okay? All right, so critical. And then the final thing is another thing I noticed between people that are like, again, watching seminars, they're not doing anything, is they don't have enough energy to like, think about discipline or bad habits require a lot of energy to overcome. So being disciplined, like when you say, hey, I want to be disciplined, right? The first thing I'm going to ask you is, what type of food are you eating? How much are you sleeping? And what do you do how is your dopamine management in the brain? Because being disciplined, like doing this stuff is dopamine negative activity that hammers your brain with the new brain cells. I'm talking about brain cells, brain patterns, which will make you sleepier, requires humongous amounts of brain energy to process, read, build new neural connections. And do you understand? It's a very, very taxing and energy dense activity. So when you do shit like this, you need to make sure you have a lot of firepower in the tank. I like to think about it as like when rocket goes to space, something like 80% of the fuel is just to overcome the gravity. So this, if you try to change the habit, like you'll need a lot of energy for like 24, 30 days to break the old habit, right? So you need to have a lot of sleep and you need to have a lot of good food in your body, so your body is maximum efficiency, does not need any reserve, it can push through anything. All right, so that's what I'm saying, is that a lot of people who fail, that's because they have shit sleeping habits. They drink a lot of coffee, which screws up your sleep. They eat a lot of junk food, which screws up your sleep, right? Screws up your insulin levels. They don't eat healthy. That's the eating healthy food is a astronomical hack, astronomical, because your body is like superhuman. That's why I said Trinity Force. The base of the Trinity Force is food and sleep. I also added air quality, but I mean, just open the window, you're grand. That's it, right? If you have food and sleep and proper oxygen, you can take on anything, because there's so much power in the tank, your body can push through it, right? But if you imagine yourself like you're just like 5 hours of sleep, you're jacked up on caffeine, right? And you just ate McDonald's bullshit with cookies, okay? Like sitting through this for 10 minutes, because those 10 minutes is gonna be like 2 hours, is close to impossible. Because what's happening in your body is tired, it needs to sleep, you're jacking it up on caffeine, and your insulin levels are all screwed up, so your body just wants to, what you want to do right now is you want to either sleep or binge watch some useless bullshit, brain dead bullshit on YouTube, so your body recovers. right? So that's why you gravitate towards, like, I don't feel like watching. I do a little bit, but not as much, because I know, okay, I'm going to complete it, and I'm going to get my dopamine reward, which is play a bit of GTA or play a bit of whatever, the game I want to play. And I have fuel in tank to perform this activity, right? Think of like, okay, I'm giving you a task, run 100 meters, right? And then after 100 meters, you get a, whatever, any type of reward that you want. Lie down or rest or whatever. But you need to have the power to do it, right? Like this stuff here requires a lot of power to do. And if you screw up with this stuff, it's not gonna work. Okay, so that's about it. So bottom line, my take, why you're failing right now, you know what you need to do, but the reason why you're not doing it, you are not disciplined, is because your food and sleep are screwed up. That's my take, right? And two, you're not managing your dopamine correctly. You're not managing the work reward cycles, okay? Because what you're doing is, most of the time I see these people do is like, yo, I'm just gonna like play for 2 days, and then past that point, Monday comes, from Monday to Friday, 12 hours per day. I'm gonna be reading, I'm gonna be like in the gym 2 hours every single day, and I'm gonna be just learning, like a programming, okay dude, here it goes. Like, I'm just gonna turn into a superhuman and be like, yo, it is time, boys. And then Monday comes, you're like, holy smokes. All of this shit requires so much energy that is, I just don't have it in the tank, right? Maybe I'll start next week. Right? So what I'm saying is that, okay, get enough sleep, get enough food, set a small goal, say, okay, I'm gonna do 10 minutes of whatever it is I'm doing. I'm gonna reward myself, I'm gonna rest, I'm gonna do 10 minutes, right? And that's it. Okay, just think about 10 minutes, it's already 25% of this. And that's it. And then you do, like, it's like this tortoise, turtle versus the rabbit, I think it was there. Hare versus the tortoise, I think the story. In life, tortoise will always win because it doesn't get burned out. Because most people think, when they think about activities, they think about it as a sprint, right? But you have to understand, learning STEM stuff, like I'm talking cognitively complex stuff, for long periods of time. Like, I'll give you an example. David Goggins, right? People are like, yo, when David Goggins is running, let's say, in the Death Valley, he's running all the time. No, he's not. I've seen him walk. I've seen him sleep. Like, if you read his book, Can't Hurt Me, he said he was so tired, in the middle of the race, he sat down near a tree and just napped. He just slept. Okay, because you have to understand that running 120 miles through extreme heat, you're not gonna do it on coffee. It's just not possible. You have to pace yourself. You have to learn, like, in steps. You have to say, okay, I'm going to jog half a mile, and then I'm gonna walk half a mile. Do you understand? That's how you win the race, because in there, you need to have slow to medium pace for durable and long periods of time. People that start sprinting, they never finish because they run out of steam. And that's it. Alright? So that's what I'm saying, is that you need to be able to do this, and then you reward yourself with dopamine, make sure you have good sleep, and that's the system that you can use. That's the one I'm using. Very effective. Very, very effective. Okay? That's my rant. Take care. Bye-bye.